So hi, welcome to the Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with,
James Barrett.
and we're asking him some questions today about his new album, a series of ... mostly nothing. I'm gonna start. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to it so far?
Honestly, the response has been great. And thank you also. I think the response has definitely been like way better than any of my last releases. But I'm also definitely a person that like I'm never like satisfied with what is. So I always want to keep pushing myself for more. So
Mhm.
there's days where I'm like, wow, everything is amazing and like my life is great. And then there's like a day where I wake up and I'm like, everything sucks and this is failing. But then it's just like, then like one thing happens and I'm like, wait, I'm fine. I'm just very dramatic. But
Mhm.
overall, I think everything's been really great. We had a release show the day of, and the show was awesome.
Nice.
So I feel like I had like a very good, like nice high that day, and I've just been trying to like keep the momentum going for
Mhm.
the weeks to follow.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Exactly. So true. Happy to hear that. So, is there any meaning behind the album name or cover art?
So I'll go to the cover art first. The cover
Mhm.
art is obviously the little tiny house. That's where we recorded pretty much the entire album.
Hmm.
So I recorded the album with Jake Checkaway, who also recorded like Origami Angel, short fictions, and like a whole ton of bands. So I've been working with him for like 4 years, and I went and originally I was going to record the album in Massachusetts, but then COVID started. So I recorded Oh My God, the second song. I was demoing the songs here in Scranton, and then I would send the songs to my friend Billy, who lives in Los Angeles. He would drum, then he would send us the drum tracks, and I was going to go
Mhm.
to Massachusetts to finish them.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Oh
COVID
wow.
started, and all the studios were kind of closed, and we had no options for like to do anything, obviously, for several months. So um, in June or like July, I went to my sister's house for the first time. She moved in with her boyfriend, and behind their house was a tiny house. And I was like, "What's that?" And they said, "Oh, it's the mini house." I said, "Okay, so what the hell is that?"
Yeah.
And they said it's just this tiny house that Nick, my sister's boyfriend, used to just rent out to people for like 300 a month. And
Mhm.
it's literally just like a little room. It has a bathroom with like a shower and a toilet and a sink and everything like that. And it's got heat. So I kind of just thought to myself, like, this could be the spot,
Mhm.
where I track everything. So pretty much Jake ended up moving into the mini house, which is crazy.
Oh.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, so Jake now is a resident of Pennsylvania, which is awesome. And we
Sorry to
ended
hear
up
that.
literally just me and yeah. So I shit on Pennsylvania a lot, but I do like Scranton, which is
Okay.
insane because I feel like I've spent my entire life hating it. But
Okay.
long story short, Jake moved into the mini house after many months of me joking about him moving into the mini house, and then it was pretty much just me and Jake just going at it for months recording in there, and it kind of just felt like right because I would just kind of post a picture of the house like every day, and then people were like, "Are you living there?" or like, "What the hell's going on with this house?"
Mhm.
And then when I finally shared the artwork, everyone was like, "Oh, like it makes sense
We get
now."
it now.
So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, because I probably shared pictures of the house for like well over a year.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
then I think it was like kind of like all purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But, so that's the artwork at least.
Yeah. And
Um,
the album name.
album name, it's kind of just like for me, the whole idea of the whole album was kind of like how I feel like when people get stuck in ruts or just like mental um just like cycles, it feels almost like a play where it's like I think of like Broadway players where it's like every day they do the same shit, every day they do the same shit for like years on end, and that's kind of how it felt like for me while writing the album, where like I go through just like a cycle of feelings every day for X amount of time, and it's like
Mhm.
you start to kind of like lose your sense of self. You're like, is this who I am, or is this just like the role I'm playing? You know what I mean? And it kind of just felt like it was like a weird play inside my head. So that name is the name of the metaphorical play that I would have, you know, written in my head about just like the last couple of years of my life. So it's kind of weird,
Mhm.
but I decided that the first song, it just kind of all like I feel like the other thing about it too is just like um, when shit hits the fan and like you make it to the other side, you're kind of just like, you go on as if like it just didn't happen. You're just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you know
Mhm.
what? It's nothing. like we got through it. It was nothing, and like you just keep going. And
hmm
even though it's not the case, like it's still just at the end of the day, like you make it through and life goes on, and
Yeah.
it loses its it's like importance or like its weight as time goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my explanation of the album's name.
All
Hard
right.
to
That's super
describe.
sick. Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
Yeah, sure. So today is actually the 2-year anniversary of my last record, The
Oh,
Price of Comfort. So which
happy
I
birthday.
real thanks. I thought I realized that when I woke up this morning. I was like, oh wow, that's like kind of cool timing. But so pretty much that last record came out, and then like I just immediately started writing this album. So I started writing a lot of the songs before COVID started, and then I kind of finished them in the beginning of the pandemic. Um, but for me, I always just like, it's really weird. I won't write for a very long time. So like my last record, The Price of Comfort, like I wrote all those songs from like 17 to like just when I turned 21. And then The Price of Comfort came out a couple months after I turned 22. I'm 24 now.
Mhm.
And I usually, like when I'm recording an album, like I'll have the songs ready for a long time. So like I just don't write because I just don't want to even have to think about like anything new. I kind of want to just focus on what I have, because then I just start thinking like, is this good enough, or should I just scratch it all or start over? So pretty much I don't write for a very long time, and then I just like explode and just write like a whole record. And that's kind of what happened right when I put my last record out. I wrote "Oh My God," which was like the first single from the album, and
Mhm.
then it all kind of just flowed from there. But usually it's just me like in my basement, just like playing guitar alone for hours on end, and then trying to
Yeah.
just think of, because like I kind of write all the parts myself. I had like a drummer play the drums obviously in the album, but for the most part I did all the stuff. So it does take a really long time to like write everything. So I try to always just like take as much time as I need, so I don't feel like it's rushed or anything.
hmm Yeah. So you're not just kind of like speeding through it.
Yeah, I feel like I used to do that a lot, and then the problem is I put something out and I just like hate it in like a week. So I
Yeah.
realized I'm like it didn't grow on me enough. Whereas like with this, it's like I've gone through every emotion possible because I had to wait for so long. Like we finished recording it in January, and then we just sat on it until at least until the end of September, which is really, in the grand scheme of things, not long. But for me, I was like, what the hell am I going to do with my life until then?
I mean, that's
Uh,
pretty long. That's a pretty,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I feel like I think of like some bands that like wait like 2 years, and I could never.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that's
Too
just
much.
insane. Um, so I feel like for me, when I would release stuff with like not a lot of prep, like I would I wouldn't be super proud of it. Whereas this is like I've gone from like absolutely loving it to being like this sucks to being like, wait, no, it's good. No, like I actually love it. I just go back and forth. The thing is, I realized I felt everything I could possibly feel during those 9 months. And the final verdict is I'm still proud of it. So that's why I think I did it right by, waiting that much
Yeah.
time.
Is that what you're going to do with all your future albums?
I kind of feel, yeah, because I feel like I kind of want to do that because like I don't know, I'd rather take my time with it, and like a lot of my favorite bands always do that. So like instead of just like putting an album out like every 2 years, which I did put it out just 2 years later, but I feel like a million things have happened in the last 2 years. So like right now, like I wouldn't even know when I would even think about having like another album out, like at least 2 years, maybe three. But
Mhm.
I would just make sure that whatever I put out then is better than this one.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes
Fair enough.
sense. So I want you to tell us your favorite lyric off of this record and the meaning behind it.
Ooh,
Mhm.
wow. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
There's two I think that might come to mind. The first one is in a series of the long song, which I was cracking up at the interview last time. Like once I got through the 18-minute opener song,
Yeah.
which I was raised in an orchestra background, just so I can get that out of the way. So that's why all my songs are like 8,000 minutes long, because I always just like think in like massive orchestra pieces.
Yeah.
but I feel like in that song, the line, I know we can't start again. I just miss you, love. I miss my friends again, because that kind of was just me like um coming to terms with like I was in a situation with my last partner that became very bad, and like there gets to a point where you know that like there's nothing you can do to like fix anything or save anything, and like it's kind of just like that acceptance of like especially when it comes with like a person who was struggling, which like that's how it was. It was, we both were struggling, but my last partner was, not she was pretty mentally ill, and it was very difficult. And it's like one of those things where it's like for the good of each other that like you're done, but like you still just like miss your friend in the aspect of it. So I feel like that was a line that like really always meant a lot to me. And I also think and I like the lyrics of Master Plan in the beginning of that song. I actually referenced Alex G because he has the song Poison Root, and I kind of liked referring to psychedelic mushrooms as the poison root, because I just think that's like a easier way to throw it in a song than saying shrooms or mushrooms,
exactly,
or like the actual name for the mushrooms on it. So that song was about just me taking mushrooms in the woods and like letting go of many things. And I feel like because of that, though, that was one of my favorite songs on the album. So just the whole first stanza of that song really means a lot to me, I think.
All right. So how did the track list for the album come about? Did you write the opener be the opener, closer be the closer? Did you just shuffle it around? I'd assume the 8-minute track was on purpose.
Yeah, so the first song I wrote was Oh My God, and then came U-Haul. And at first I thought U-Haul was going to be the opener. And then when I wrote Series of, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, this just feels like it's like this is how it's got to start. It's got to start with like a big bang. So then came that song, and then like there was a lot of songs that just kind of came like periodically, like the Reprise at the end of the album that came last summer, and that's just like like another version kind of U-Haul. And then Thinking of a Place I wrote pretty early on. That's the last song, and I thought since I opened with a massive 7-minute song, I kind of wanted to end it with something soft to like. I think I feel like the expectation is like the last song was going to be huge, but I kind of wanted Mostly Nothing to be that, like the final title track. And then to have Thinking of a Place just kind of be like almost as if like my perspective of it, like a year later, you know what I mean? Like everything's kind of said and done. And then like, even though that song is older, it kind of makes more sense to me now as like time has passed. And it like feels like at the end of the album that it's not like I've like found the piece that I wanted at the end of the album, but like it's coming, and it's like time has passed and I'm still here. So that's kind of how I like thought of it.
Okay.
I really like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, even though it wasn't like the last thing that you wrote, it still kind of ties it all together. It's just kind of like a conclusion.
I always say like I feel like healing is like very non-linear. So like I think like there's many things where like you just go through all these cycles of things. And oh, my dog's coming in. Hi, buddy.
Can you see your dog?
What is the name of the dog? And can we see the dog?
Yes, this is Austin. He is the best. He has a nice human name named Austin. We adopted him, and he had that name, so he's kept it.
Oh my goodness!
We call him Schmoz. He's the best. But he sleeps with me at night, and he loves to cuddle. Today he slept until 9 o'clock.
Oh, nice. As he should.
He's an old man. He's like 13 years old. But he just like he has very loud breathing. He's got bad allergies, and he's just the cutest dog ever.
I think it's just one of those days. I feel it, Austin. I feel it.
Yeah, no, he's the best. If you hear like any just like grunts, it's
that's
just
awesome.
My dog.
It's just awesome. Yeah.
No, not the person in your basement.
Yeah, no, just because I went upstairs because I was like, my other 2 dogs are downstairs, and Isabel, my other dog, just like constantly just whines because she wants attention, which I'm like, I know, me too, baby. But she definitely whines like a lot. And every time I ever have to do anything on Zoom, like all you just hear is my dogs just talking in the background. I'm like, I feel bad for anybody that has to listen to this podcast just hearing like, oh, oh. You know. So I'm like, I'm not dealing with any of that bullshit tonight. So I went upstairs. I can't remember what the hell I was even talking about, but okay. Healing is non-linear. Healing is
there. You go.
So, yeah, I just feel like healing is non-linear. So even when I write songs in different like time periods of my life, like I go back to feeling that way some days. Like some days I feel like how I felt when I wrote the opener, and there's some days where I feel like how I felt when I wrote The Art of Letting Go, and there's some days where it's just kind of like that's just kind of how it is, which is why I felt like I liked the order for how it was, because it's just kind of just like the ups and downs of processing things.
Okay.
I like that a lot. So what track took the longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
Well, I guess technically the one that like really took the longest to write was The Art of Letting Go, because I wrote the music to that at the end of 2019, and then like I really just kind of like fucked around with that song for a long time, and then even that was the last song we recorded, so this was like January, and it was the night before we were supposed to do the vocals, and I was still like not satisfied with the lyrics at all.
Oh.
So I was like I was changing the lyrics like a bunch that night, just because I was like, this still doesn't feel right. This still doesn't feel right. It's mainly for the second verse, and then once I finally found like what I wanted, which is now what's in the song, it just like I was like, wait, this clicks. So we recorded that, and then I went home that night, and I still felt like the song was missing something. And like this happens a lot, but like this song has just been going on for so long that I was like, I can't believe there's still like I still not satisfied with it. And it was the guitar riff in the beginning, in the verses of the song, like that wasn't there. And I was in my bed, and I was just listening to it, and I literally was like, my eyes shot open. I was like, wait a minute. I like ran in the basement, and I just like grabbed my acoustic quick, and I just tried to figure out what notes I was hearing. And then the next morning, I texted Jake that night, like, Jake, I'm coming back in the morning. We got one more thing we got to do. Yeah. And then I went back and we finished it, and that guitar riff, I think, like completed the song. But that was a song that I just could never seem to get right until like literally the 11th hour. And then there was a lot of times where there was songs where I thought I was just going to cut them. But I'm like, I'm so happy I didn't, because it was just like, I just needed to let them sit. But I think that song definitely took a while to write. And so did Yellow Paint, the piano one. Mainly just like lyrics. That song took a long time for me to figure out. I had a couple different versions of it. I didn't really like it. And then also just like figuring out when each different change happens in the song, because it's all based around like the same couple notes, but like just a couple of different variations. So that song definitely took a while. But then as for like my favorite, it always changes, I think. But I have like two. I think I really like Since I Left the Salon, because it's the only song that's not depressing on the album for me. And it mainly was because I wanted to write just something funny and like goofy. And I was like, I don't know. I tried to, I think that song was for me was like proving to myself that like you can have an album about like heavy shit, but then also still have a song that doesn't have to be about any of it. And for me, I always think like, I kept thinking like, does this fit? Does it not fit? Like, is it just out? Is it just weird? But then like, I kind of like it because again, it just like shows the way we, the ups and downs that we have. So I think that song's one of my favorites. And I think I really like Series Up, the opening song.
All right. It seems like your songwriting process for the most part is a slow burn. Am I getting, is that how it is? Okay.
Yeah. It's it's either I write something like in 1 second where like, oh my God, that song. That song came, like I had the idea for like the beginning stanza, and then the chorus of that song, like I'm still stuck in a while, like that part. I wrote that whole thing in like, it was like, I like blacked out. I just wrote, I don't know what happened, but I just wrote the whole thing in like one sitting. I just played like those 3 chords, and it just like came to me in like a second. And I was like, wow, like the best chorus I've ever written came to me that easy. And then there's times where like shit will take me like a year and a half. So I think like it's really just all over the place, which sounds reminiscent of other things in my life that I keep saying about. Just everything's just all over the place. But that's how it is. I feel like it just, I can't write like a song every day. Some people are like, write a song every day. And then like, I feel like you're just going to write a lot of bad songs. And then I feel like that's why I like to journal instead. So I'll like journal my thoughts out so I can at least write. So that way, when I finally feel creative, it's not just like shit, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely take a really, really long time. But I feel like it's better that way, just in the long run. Or at least I hope.
Fair enough.
Definitely, yeah.
So where was your headspace at while you were writing this album?
Not good, but now I'm good. Now I feel better. So
Right.
It's like
Good.
pretty much I didn't want it to be like your typical like, oh, it's a breakup record. And like I just hate that. I didn't want it to be that way, but I just ended up going through a pretty gnarly split with my last partner right at the time of my last record release. And it just like, I don't know, it just made me kind of like want to give up on like my last album. And I kind of just like did. So then I was like, I felt really like ashamed of myself for a while. Because I was like, you know, I spent all this time on this record, and then I let like my personal life interfere with me pushing it and me playing shows. And then pretty much soon after that, the pandemic started. So then I was like really kind of shit out of luck. And I was like, well, now I can't tour. Now I can't do anything. And on top of that, I've wasted the first several months of this release because I've just been so disoriented. And it was really frustrating and hard, but I pretty much just told myself, like, I kind of just felt like at that point, all I could do was just try to start like again and just start from scratch, and then hope that in time, like this record now it's 2 years to the day, that in time, like that record will get the, you know, publicity or whatever that I wanted out of it. But so pretty much it was kind of just like, I felt like defeat, but this album gave me like a sense of purpose again, I feel like. And even just in the various stages of like writing it, and then like the year writing it versus like the almost a year recording it and like waiting for it, like I feel like I felt so many things. But mainly this whole album I feel like is just about like love in general, and you know, for yourself or for another person, or for like forgiveness, or really for anything, and just like what it makes you feel and do. And I feel like it was a very naive thought, but when the pandemic started, I remember asking myself, like, is this the end of the world? You know, like it really felt like the world was kind of fucking ending in 2020. And
it still does.
It still does. Yeah. I mean, we are fucked, but it really, especially last year, I kept thinking like, there's no way we make it to 2021. Like, I was like, you know, I was like, between the election, between COVID, like there's no way. And I remember thinking to myself, like, is this all I will ever know of love? Like this awful ending to something, and then the world just crashes and burns, and like that's all I know. And
wow,
I feel like
grim.
which was terrible. But then this album made me realize that like that's not all I know, because I have love for friends, and love for my family, and love for my dogs, and love for everything, and myself. And like it doesn't just have to be, it's all just about like perspective on it. So I feel like in the beginning of writing this album, that was my mindset, literally. Just like total defeat, like the world is ending. That's what like a love song in 2020 was, me trying to find forgiveness while the world was ending, where I thought, you know, like if the world ends, like it's all okay. Don't worry about whatever happened, you know. And then that was just kind of how I went through this whole entire like past 2 years. But then to come out on the other side, like it really feels like just, I feel like an entirely different human being, like now that it's out versus like when I, you know, first started writing it 2 years ago. It's crazy.
Sure.
Wow. Well, I'm happy you kind of had that full circle thing, rather than just feeling like the world's ending and I hate love and everything sucks. So I'm happy you're doing better now.
Yeah, no, I thank you. I think everyone kind of has those like really pessimistic and like naive thoughts, like when shit hits the fan, like everything sucks, this is the end. But like I think it was just bad timing with many things. And no matter what, like it always gets better. You know, like it always will get better no matter what. And I just feel like this kind of proved that to me. So even in days like now where I'm like stressing out about shit, unrelated to love. I'm just related to anything in life. Like I still think to myself, like we still fucking did this, you know? So like I can keep going.
Exactly. That was good. That was very good. I liked that answer. Thanks. It was one of the best answers we've gotten.
Wow, thanks.
Of course. So how do you recommend your listeners to listen to this album for the first time? Should they put it on the car with friends? Should they blast it at a party? Should they work out to it? What do you recommend?
I would say don't blast it at a party because I think everyone's gonna get kind of bummed out.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
But then like they're gonna go through phases. Like U-Haul will come on, they'll feel like shit, and then Art of Letting Go will come on right after, and they'll maybe get pumped up.
Okay.
So I feel like the best time, I don't know, for me, I got a text from my friend Madison the day it came out. She's like, James, I love your album, Beautiful Work, but she's like, definitely not a 9 a.m. on a Friday album. I was like, you know what, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's a Monday kind of record.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. For me, it's hard for me to like kind of find the right moment because it's been like 2 years of knowing these songs. So like I think of a million different moments, but I just think like front to back, just like either on a nice long drive, like whenever you have the time to listen to it in its entirety. Because I think like I always think of things as a whole. So I think of like, it's hard for me to just write like an EP or just like a standalone single or anything. I always think of like the whole entire thing, kind of like the whole orchestra background of that, of like movements and stuff. So I just think like on a nice long drive or late at night or when the vinyl finally comes, maybe just toss the record on, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, just whatever. I feel like whenever people are ready, and I hope people will like it when they are, you know?
Right. So this question should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
3 words. Oh my God. I could just, this is 2 words, but it's hyphenated. I'd say like emotional roller coaster. I don't know. I feel like it just, you feel everything, you know?
All right.
I feel like that's the best way to describe it. I don't know, because I think it just gives you a little taste of everything, at least in my opinion. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Well, you need 2 more if that's hyphenated. That's the rule. Come on.
You said 3 words?
Yeah.
You could do fun, emotional roller coaster.
Okay. Loud, emotional.
No, but emotional roller coaster was hyphenated, you said. So then we're only going to count
Will roller coaster be the hyphenated word, right?
Oh,
emotional,
yeah.
Emotional, and then roller coaster would be like the 2 words.
We're gonna split
okay, well there.
So we'll say, yeah, fun, emotional roller coaster. That's what we'll say.
Fun, emotional roller coaster. Okay, I'll take that. I was a little confused.
I have to tell people it's fun, or else they're not gonna want to listen to it.
Yeah.
But then I can't be like, yeah, it's just gonna kill you, and no one's gonna want to listen to it, you know. But I don't think it does. I try to write things that like are not just so fucking sad. Like I want other things to just take the place of it, like the music instruments or stuff like that, to like not overdo it with like depressing lyrics. Just like, I don't know. So I think it's not like super, super depressing. I think I'm overdoing it in this interview by saying all that.
You're all good. So is there a certain feeling or emotion you want this album to invoke in your listeners?
Whoa, Jesus Christ. That was a sneeze from my dog.
Oh,
I told
bless
you. Got bad allergies.
Yeah.
Struggling today.
Are you okay? Jesus. Oh my God. I can't wait to hear that on Spotify, that sneeze. Forever.
That was a jump scare. Yeah.
I know. Okay. Emotion I want it to instill is just like, it's a good question. This is not really I mean, it might be an emotion, but just like a feeling, like persevering. That's what I want. Just
that's good.
That's what I think.
All right. What band or artist influence you think you can hear the most on this album, if any?
Oh yeah, because you were saying the other interview, I can't think of who.
I can't fucking.
I was really excited about it because I was like, wow, he has no idea. You're talking about Angels and Airwaves in this exact episode. So obviously big Angels and Airwaves fan when I was growing up, but I always get annoyed when people like would say I try to rip off Angels and Airwaves. I'm like, Tom DeLonge did not invent the digital delay pedal. So
exactly.
I'm like, I can use the digital delay pedal, but I think like I grew up really like loving Ava. And then in the last couple years, 2 bands that really like influenced me a shit ton. One is Gang of Youths. They're a band from Australia that now they're like really blowing up. But they put out an album in 2017 called Go Farther in Lightness, which I think is forever one of my top 5 favorite records. It's also an hour and 18 minutes long. So I think my album will make a little more sense. When you wrote everything I listen to is like, then the other band is The National, and their albums are all like an hour and a half long.
How do you have time for this?
Yeah. That, honestly, I guess I do.
When do you listen to this stuff?
So usually I love, if you guys see my tweets all the time, I'm always tweeting about Lake Scranton because I just love going to Lake Scranton. Mm-hmm. So I usually go on nice long walks there and we'll listen to something like that. Or I tend to be driving a lot. Like when I drive to a rehearsal, that's like 40 minutes away. Mm-hmm. So like I just have like 2 40-minute drives. But I also just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm always just listening to music kind of. So I don't know. Yeah, like The National and Gang of Youths kind of just like really did it for me over the last 2 years. Now The National has become like probably my favorite band, like tied with Gang of Youths, and then Angels and Airwaves, and then growing up really like Alkaline Trio a lot, and also the Gaslight Anthem was like a huge influence for me. And then also God Bless Again.
Oh bless you.
Ooh, and I'd say also just like the Scranton bands, like the Menzingers, Tiger's Jaw, Captain Were Sinking, like all those bands were, and then Wicked Face too. And I love Wicked Face. And I just think like all of the Scranton bands really, I mean, growing up being in like 10th grade and just like seeing these bands, or like being in like 5th grade. The first time I saw the Menzingers, Tiger's Jaw, I was 12 or 11 years old or something like that in like 2009.
Goddamn.
So like growing up and seeing these bands just like become who they are today always made me realize that like, you know what, I can do the same thing if I try. If I don't give up, I can do what they're doing, whereas like I think a lot of people in this area are always like, yeah, you have to leave Scranton to make it out of here, and I'm like, well, there's a lot of bands that have made it out of here,
Exactly.
So I can't, definitely have to give credit to them too.
I think Tiger's Jaw is the only one that gets remotely close to what I was thinking. I still don't know what I was thinking though, so I couldn't tell you. But if I ever come up with it, I'll let you know.
Maybe The Dangerous Summer. Is that a band that you're thinking?
I don't really like most of the bands that you named. I might know the name of, but I don't listen to them enough to be like, that's an influence.
Oh, that's it.
And The Dangerous Summer is another one of those bands where I know of them, don't listen to them enough to be like, that's what it sounds like.
Stuff. Their older stuff is what I used to. I actually opened for them my second show ever in 2010.
What?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I was 12, and I just emailed this venue that had booked me like 3 months prior, and they're like, "Do you want to open for The Dangerous Summer?" And I was like, "Yeah." I didn't know who the hell they were, but that was right when the album Where I Want to Be, or no, is that the album Where I Want to Be? It's the album with the tree on it. It's like their first album, and it's like fucking amazing. So I remember seeing that album when I was like 12. I was like, what am I doing here? Like, what the hell am I doing here?
So how many people did you play to then? Because they were a decent size.
Yeah, that show was kind of packed. I mean, luckily, like my family's been very supportive for like my entire life. My dad's a musician. My brother drums my band. So like growing up, like when I was playing shows, like my parents would have all of their friends buy my tickets. So like it'd be funny, like my parents would like go out of the way and get all their friends to come to my show. They'd sell like all like 30 of my tickets, and then like I'd get like $30.
Wow.
The bar would make like a killing off of my parents and their friends, and I'd get $30 if that, $1 a ticket. And I was like, wow.
At least the venue knew that you could sell tickets.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, like, that was once they realized that, like, my parents would bring people, they just kept booking me. So, like, that was how I kind of got my start. The venue was called Eleanor Rigby's in Carbondale, Pennsylvania. The first show I opened for, it was February, like, 21st, 2010. And it was the first time I ever sang in public, first time I ever played in front of anyone. And I was opening for Sparks the Rescue, old, like, pop punk band from, like, early 2010s. I wasn't sure if that would ring a bell. I never listened to them. But
I never even heard of them.
Yeah, no. The thing is, there's times where I mention that band, and someone's like, "What?" Because it's like an old like MySpace band or some shit. So,
yeah.
Like, but yeah, I ended up on quite a few like random shows as a kid, which is really, really funny.
I'm kind of blown away. Dangerous Summer at 12, you said?
Yeah.
That's insane. That is like.
Yeah, and then they became like one of my favorite bands for years. Like I went to, it was crazy. I remember they broke up for a couple of years and then they got back together. If they ever listen to this podcast, I'm sorry, Dangerous Summer. Your older music was definitely like where my heart's at. But they got back together.
Yeah.
And they played a show in Baltimore. And it was like their first hometown show back. And I ended up going with my friend Ashley. And I remember like talking to AJ and he remembered the show. And I was like, this is crazy to think like I met this dude like, I don't know, 10 or now. I mean, that was 2017. So I was like, I met him like 7 years prior to that event. And then here they were again. Like I knew like every song now this time. And it was just crazy. Yeah. But if I wasn't just this 12-year-old dude that just got thrown on the show, like I don't know if I ever would have listened to them. And they became a very influential band growing up. Their album War Paint is a fantastic record. If you guys want to like ever dig into their older music, I think War Paint is like insane. I think it's so good.
Good mind.
All right. Yeah, I'll
definitely would recommend that. That's my redemption for not liking their newer music. If they ever do this podcast.
Oh yeah. Music sucks. Check out their old stuff though. That stuff's great. Yeah. God. So what was your favorite memory that you made while creating this album?
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh man, that's a really good question. I just feel like, to be honest, it wouldn't be just one particular, but just like a couple in general of like the similar thing of just like being in the mini house with Jake. So like Jake and I have recorded together for years since like I was 19. So I met Jake in 2017, and he recorded my EP 20, and then he recorded The Price of Comfort. He recorded like literally everything since. And it's always been me driving to Philly, me driving to Massachusetts, and like always just like being there, recording, leaving, and like never having time to like just relax. Like we were just strictly, we got shit to do. Mm-hmm. And like to have Jake be in this house, and it kind of just felt like we were like away from everything. Like we were just like in this tiny little house, it was just us, just fucking like recording all these guitars and synths and like ripping a bong every now and then, just like no worries at all in the world. And like I feel like just the whole entire like process of that was just it was like so peaceful, because like despite what was going on, like that was like my, that was my spot to go. Mm-hmm. Like it was just like I would go and just I'd be gone all day, and then I'd come home and I'd feel like I'm one day closer to being done with this goddamn album, Mm-hmm. So yeah. It was a beautiful thing though. Like it really was. Like I think it was like some of the most fun I've ever had recording anything, like ever.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
But you know what? I'm gonna take it back though, and then if I had to say my best memory though, I think the release night, like the show in Scranton, was like, oh my god. Harmony Woods played. Sophia's like the best, and then so did A Fire with Friends. They're like a local band from Scranton. But it was just like the first show I played in like a year and a half, and to like play a show again and like just play the song for the first time live, and like it was just awesome. Probably one of the best nights I think I've ever had in my life.
So picture this: you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Ooh, wow. Okay. Any rest stop. We're not going like Sheetz, Wawa. We're not going to do that. We're not going to pick a battle tonight. We're just going any rest stop.
Any rest stop, but if you want it to be a Sheetz or a Wawa, it can be.
I'm not even going to go there.
Okay.
I won't even. I'm not going to give the people what they want. I'm going to let that sit for the next one. I'll decide where I'm at on the Wawa Sheetz thing.
They all know Wawa's superior anyways, though, so it's okay. It's fine.
Never been to a Sheetz.
I'm like, I was like, you got to understand that Sheetz is all over Scranton.
Yeah. Like I go to Pennsylvania every goddamn weekend because my partner lives out there, and I guess that they're just too close to the New Jersey border. I've never seen a Sheetz in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
So wait, okay. Where are you both from?
I'm in New Jersey.
I'm in Virginia.
You're in Virginia. Okay. Both places that I will be touring to in February, which is cool. But Pennsylvania is filled with Sheetz, and then there's also Wawas in Pennsylvania. We kind of get them both, but
exactly.
I really don't. I like them both. I said I was gonna not get into this, but I'm giving the people what they want. I really can't choose. Like I think on any given day, like if I find myself at a Sheetz or a Wawa, like I'm meant to be there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm meant to get what I'm supposed to get there. So whatever happens, happens. And honestly, I've really never been disappointed at a Wawa.
Yeah.
I think their coffees are amazing. I think they have superior coffee over Sheetz for sure. Yeah. I will give them their lattes any day. Mm-hmm. I do think though, like the Sheetz fried appetizers are just they're just you can't compare. They're just unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't had the Sheetz fried appetizers, that's definitely something that you gotta do. But there's a nationwide shortage of appetizers at Sheetz right now.
Oh my god!
So you go there and they're literally on all of the order menus. It's like, don't be alarmed, we may be out of your favorite items today, and it's been there for like 2 months. So it's been hard. It's been hard for a couple months. But
I have to find a Sheetz now.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I would say I'd probably go in. I get maybe a Propel, like a nice like berry Propel. Mm-hmm. And maybe like if I'm feeling really bold and I want to get candy, maybe like some Reese's Pieces. Mm-hmm. Or if I was feeling, like I just wanted like a little munch on something, maybe like a Cliff chocolate chip bar, something like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those are my picks.
All right.
Perfect.
I'm like, dude, just chocolate.
Chocolate. Exactly. Yeah. So if the project was a dish, what dish would you be?
Wow. You know what? I'm gonna be a burrito.
A burrito?
Yes, because I love burritos more than anything in the world. And they're compact. They're filled with many things. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's very it's fulfilling, mm-hmm. And it leaves you satisfied. And this is me hyping up my album and the burrito that I'm probably going to eat tomorrow.
Hell yeah! Perfect. So where do you see the project in the next 5 years? Ooh, big scary 5-year question.
Wow. Wait, what, oh, sorry. I did not hear it was the first one. I thought you said we're going to do a project in 5 years.
No.
I didn't. Okay. What was the question?
Where do you see the project in the next 5 years?
Oh, man.
Big scary 5-year question.
Oh, God. So 5 years from now, I will be 29.
Goddamn.
I just hope that...
Say goddamn.
Goddamn. Is that I don't even okay, so now the next question. How old are the both of you?
18.
I don't even know.
Almost
it just
19.
turned 17.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
You're like an old man to us.
No.
That's so funny. No, I literally was like, they're probably like 22, 23. I can't tell the age of anyone. That's hilarious. Yeah, I'll be 29. I know, dude. I know. My dog. I'll be 29. I would like to just believe, like, I don't know. I hope I'm just touring and like. Right now, I don't work. I lost my job from the pandemic last June, and I've just been kind of throwing myself into the universe with my music ever since, and it's worked out thus far. So my goal is to just keep pushing, so I don't have to work like a shitty day job like I have for my entire life until last year, and then just make this actually work. So, like, I don't know, I want to be touring regularly. I have high expectations for where I want to go in life with music, and I feel like this album is like my life's work. So I hope that this album will bring me a lot of success over the next year, and then hopefully in 5 years I'll have another album out that will be even better. And I just hope to just keep getting better with music and better as a person and with life and everything. So hopefully by 29, almost 30, like, all of my shit maybe figured out.
Tour nationwide. Everyone will know James.
I hope. I absolutely hope. But yeah, I don't know. I think can you please stop? Sorry. He's chasing his tail now. You know, he's so cute. But I don't know. Yeah, I hope like, I just want this to work out. It's not like I want to be like famous. I just want to play music and just like do that forever. Like that's all I want to do. Yeah. I want to play music and not have to wonder like, how am I going to do this every day of my life? You know, I want to just like get to a point where like people just listen to my shit without me having to tweet about it like a million times or like have like 6 existential crises in like a single day. Yeah. You know, the thing is, I realize like no matter what though, like I'm still going to be freaking out when I'm 29. You know, I'm always going to be freaking out. We're always going to be freaking out. So I feel like just as long, I'm just going to keep going. Hopefully by 29, things will be in, you know, a lot better. And they're already good now.
Hell yeah.
Good. So for these last couple of questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, totally fine.
Sick. So we're going to go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
I'm going to go back to a burrito. Like it
okay.
Has to be,
okay. That's fair.
Yeah. I eat burritos all the time. So I would say I would get a Pancheros. I don't know if you guys know what Pancheros is. It's very like niche, like Chipotle Moe's burrito branch.
Oh.
But I rank it. I love Chipotle, but I don't get burritos with Chipotle. I get bowls of Chipotle. So I rank it Panch and then Chipotle and then Moe's because I think Panch is just superior. So if you ever see a Pancheros, you got to go.
I got it. Okay. Noted.
But I would get a nice Pancheros burrito. And honestly, I'd live a little bit and I'd get a Coca-Cola on my last meal because I used to be a big soda guy when I was a kid, and I've grown out of it because I don't want to die. But the thing is, every time I do have a sip of a soda, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, damn, that's good. But then I'm like, I can't. So I think if it was my last meal, I would rip the hell out of a Coke.
All right.
Solid.
So if you could live in one fiction world for a week, where would you live?
One fiction world for a week. Wow. These are good questions. Like these are nothing I have prepared for, which I like. So one fiction world for a week. I feel like, oh my god, Jesus. I feel like it'd have to be maybe like, I don't know. This is maybe like an Alice in Wonderland type thing, or like a Skyrim world, just something ridiculous like that. Like I need something magical. Like I need to be seeing something I'm not going to normally see, like a dragon or like, you know. So maybe wow, this is quite the question. Yeah, I'm gonna go Cloud City Paper Mario 64.
Oh, okay.
There we go. That's a more concrete answer. I had to think about that for a couple minutes. Cloud City, like World 8 in Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Good answer.
Perfect. So I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person you've spoken to has actually said it is the most important question.
Okay. I'm ready.
What is your favorite color?
Ooh. I'm going to go purple.
Purple,
which is funny because the album is covered in purple, but I really love purple, and I feel like I've always kind of changed over years, like what colors I seem to like the most. But I've realized like definitely I really like nice like violets and purple.
Okay. Based.
Very solid color. Please never say based again.
I'm trying it out.
It's not working out.
It's not working. I'm gonna try it again.
Wait, so I guess. Now I feel old. So what is based like? Is that like a?
It's like good. Like I agree. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
I've been hearing like period.
Oh, period. Yeah, I like using that one. That's a good one.
I've been hearing that a lot, and I'm trying to think of anything. I always
Pog.
I feel like just
you hear Pog a lot. Pog.
Pog.
Yeah, Pog. You've never, how have you like existed and you've never
on
heard
the internet?
Pog? Exactly.
You follow us.
Exactly. How have you not?
Wait. Wait. Spell the word.
POG.
Oh, okay.
It's short for poggers.
Which is short for PogChamp.
Okay, back to bass for just a second. If the podcast falls apart, it's because Glory started saying bass and it became part of my vocabulary.
Bass.
And
Yeah.
I won't. I can't keep doing it.
It's gonna happen. It's okay.
Oh my god, that's so good. No, I'm gonna try it out this week.
Okay. Which one?
The waters.
Base or Pog?
So tell me how would I use Pog in context?
Okay, Shane, say something like good, like something that just happened.
Right, banged your mom last night.
Oh, bro, that's so Pog.
I've been those tweets I see all the time, and I'm always cracking.
You're not supposed to talk to us about those.
I always crack the fuck up. I'm like, what is going on with this podcast? Like,
it's just, yeah,
going crazy over here.
Exactly.
No, I love it. I fucking love it. Honestly, it's amazing. So if he said that, you'd say that's so Pog.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh man, that's so Pog. It's like that's great. You use it in place of great or awesome. Okay. It's just Pog. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I'm really gonna try that out this week.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna go to New York City tomorrow, so maybe I'll put the waters down there.
See,
and
good luck. Let us know how that goes. Using it like in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a Twitter thing.
Yeah, I think it's just like an online thing. But I'd love to see how it goes.
I'm gonna feel like Billy on the street, just walking around New York Pog. Saying Pog. Oh, that's good. All right, well that's good. Hey, you learn something new every single day.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. My friends and I, we always just say like, let's rip this. Like, if we want to do something, we're gonna rip this. Like, want to go rip. Yeah, like if we want to go to, and we also abbreviate everything. So instead of saying like, do you want to eat at Chipotle? We'll say you want to rip Chip.
Okay.
You want to rip Chip?
Yeah, Chip is shortened for Chipotle. And then rip is the verb to consume Chipotle. So you want to rip Chip? Question mark.
The verb to consume Chipotle. Just how you make it so technical. Where it's just you want to rip Chip.
Like I'm back in fucking grammar class.
Exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, pretty much like you want to go like if we want like the coffee shop Northern Lights in Scranton, like you want to go rip Northern, you want to go rip Lake Scranton, you want to go rip this, you want to go rip that.
Yeah.
Or it could be literally like you want to rip a J, or you want to rip a hike. It's just good. It's good fun. And then you abbreviate the words you're going to. So
yeah, like
instead of going to Panch, you want or Pancheros, you'd say Panch. Want to rip Panch? Wow. Or so maybe you want to rip Wah for Wawa.
Wawa. I think we got to add that to our
absolutely not.
Shane. You wanna rip. I don't have anything to rip. I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Well, listen. Right now, you know what we're all doing?
What?
Right now, we're ripping this podcast. Right now,
there
ripping
you
this
go.
Pod.
We're ripping this pod.
Which also could also mean you're ripping the jewel pod. You're ripping this pod. You know what I mean?
My press email. The press emails from now on are going to be, "Can this band rip the pod?" And we're gonna see what fucking happens.
We're gonna get blacklisted.
No
from
more.
everything.
No more being serious. Just they gonna rip this pod or not?
Yeah, we want them to come on and rip the pod. It'd be so.
You're gonna get someone that's like so like trying to like be in touch with the younger crowd, like Chris Daughtry from American Idol, or like I'm trying to even think like someone like super old from like American Idol, like trying to like regain its place with the young people. Like, I'll rip the pod.
I'd love to rip the pod.
They're asking management, do you know what that means? Like, what is ripping the pod?
What did I just sign up for?
Yeah. Yeah, right now we're all ripping this pod. And like you're ripping those headphones right now. It's like pretty much like it could be to do something, to eat something, like just
if we're shortening headphones, you're ripping this head, and that makes it very questionable.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned now.
Then maybe we could say you're ripping this phone, or you're ripping.
But then
phones.
It's like, okay, phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say phones, because then no one can be like, okay, no one's ripping multiple cell phones in a row.
Yeah,
we're not the plural version. We're back to grammar again.
Oh my God.
It's just we're ripping. You're ripping those phones, the singular version of phones, because headphones.
Phones with a Z.
Headphones. Oh yeah. There you go. There you go.
Wow. Ooh. People don't talk about the Z enough.
They don't.
They don't. Bring it back.
So, as Gloria said, that is all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
No, I think just I hope people like my album.
Hope they rip the album.
I hope they rip the album. Yeah, rip the wreck. I hope people go home and rip that wreck. And what if I start like a whole generational thing where everyone starts using Rip now? I'd be so happy. Maybe I never meant to like make an impact in the music industry, but maybe this is my calling.
Exactly.
I introduced the term Rip to the masses. But no, I think that's it. I by the way, I had a blast talking to the both of you. This is so fun. I appreciate you. You guys wanted me on the podcast, on the pod.
Exactly. Thanks for coming on and
ripping the pod with us.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, I'll rip it anytime. And yeah, this was so fun, and this was a delight. And I've got a lot of new vocab after this. And yeah, this is good fun. So thanks, team.
Well, thank you. For now, this has been James Barrett, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.